Hey, it's Ed here. Today we're taking a look at technical analysis for Bitcoin. I'll cover wave analysis with Elliott Wave Theory and provide multiple scenarios that price may take and explain why I prefer one counter over another. Let's take a look at the different possibilities. Starting here on daily time frame and looking at these perpetual futures charts, as we don't need to be looking at the very high time frame. Last time we were covering the very high time frame, but again this chart is not bringing us the wave 1 here. So generally what we have, and everybody agrees on this, is that we have this here as a 1-2. Now before, again on the previous videos we went through on the higher time frame, why do you think that we have the very much of a possibility of having this very bullish count where we had a 1-2 1-2 1-2 as a possible main count here, where this last leg again would be just a 1-2 3 4 5. Now I did not mention and give reasons why I don't think that this is no longer a wave 4. There is of course still a possibility that this is a wave 4 of this, where this would be a 1-2 3 and this would be an expanded structure for that wave 4. But again, the reasons why I don't think is the following. Again, the proportions. This is the main reason why I don't like it. Again, this would be a 3 4 5 here, or ABC here, as some kind of expanded structure. This definitely feels the best as a 5-way structure, and again because we have taken out the highs here, we can't start anything with this, so this has to be an end of something. So the end should be an ABC here, and this would bring us to that wave 4. Of course, this could be the start of a WXY or a expander flat, where we had this as the possibility. However, now we have come down so much more than we wanted that it does not really make too much sense anymore. We're looking at the extension targets from these pivots. We can see that we have some of the targets here. Once we crossed down below these lows of that possible wave A here, this definitely had the chance of being that 5th wave. But at that point, however, we did not really have a good looking wave structure into it, meaning that most likely it is not a wave 5. Then we had another drop down here, and at that point again we had more of something like this as that last structure. There was definitely a possibility, and there is still a possibility, where this was that 3-way structure like so. However, it does not fit into the wave 4 area or mindset anymore, in my opinion, because again it is so much larger. If this indeed was a 3-way move like so, we have already taken out the bottom here of these the lows of June with the more recent price action, which means that we can't have anything bullish going from here. Of course, we can have an expander flat here, but in that scenario, this would act only as some kind of connector wave connecting this structure over to the next here. And that again would not fit into the higher time frame pictures at all. We can't really have this as a wave 4 anymore. So again, that narrows us down some of the possibilities that we have actually here. Again, I don't think that we have this 3 in here and this 5 in here. It just wouldn't really make too much sense, because again wave 2 is this kind of size. So having this as the wave 4 at the moment fits this very well, in my opinion. So those are some of the reasons why I do like the count, how I've laid out it at the moment here more locally. Of course this is on daily time frame, but yeah, you get the point in the more recent years. But yeah, that's that. Then we had few different options here for this more recent price action here, so I got them on this chart instead. So let's take a look at those. Again, if we are assuming that wave 5 ended here at these tops of that November highs, we have a few different options. The first one is this ABC zigzag that we talked about, having this as a 3-way structure. Now there is still a possibility where we are still within that possible wave 2, and the wave 2 again only invalidates the idea at these lows around 30,210. We have few different fibs here. If we are on logarithm scale, 10.2k is the golden pocket, and arithmetic scale it was 28k. It was basically these previous year's lows or the June lows. But again, I feel like the log scale fits here a bit better because that is some area that we have still yet tapped into. Again, if we are breaking the highs here of 13.6k, we can confirm 100% that this is not a wave 4 anymore. Again, if we would just pivot now, we would have to force some kind of count in here, in my opinion, and yeah, it wouldn't have the right look. But yeah, that's that. Again, 10.3k ish is the golden pocket. For that, again, there is still a lot of price to go to, so it would be around here somewhere. And what we could be doing is this some kind of, well, depending of course on a local time frame here and local count, but there is definitely a few different options how we're going to get there. One of them would be that we have this as some kind of three-wave structure like so, and then have another three-wave structure coming down. Depends on how high this is going to go and whether it is actually a C wave or not. We're going to be getting some major targets here into these lows. Whether it is around that 10k area or if it is way lower, we'll see. If it is going to be breaking the lows of that golden pocket, then it's starting to make everything a bit more scuffed, in my opinion. Because again, if we're looking at the volume profile, we are starting to get more volume in here around 12k, and this is the block that we definitely need to be holding. Not golden pocket, but the point of control is right around $6,500, and which is again still so far away that I don't really want to be talking about it. There's again so many different variations here that can happen. But let's just go through the ones that I've listed here. Again, the ABC down here into these lows, and then we have more local counts here. Some of them saying that we have this as a structure like this, where we would be expecting higher here, and before that again we would be getting this three-way move like so. But yeah, the overall idea is that we would be getting some kind of move up at some point, some more significant upward move. Then we had very similar structure here, but instead of an ABC, it would be a WXY. This definitely feels and looks pretty okay as a 5-way move. Again, it would not fit into this idea. We would have to force some kind of a ABC in here, where we would have this some as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 3-way pullback. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is doable creating this as an ABC into that way Y. Again, this would create us this WXY into these lows of June, and then we would either have again two different possibilities from here on out. Either we are creating this as a WXYXZ, or we have completed this three-way move and this is some separate structure, or this is a WX and then this would be a wave A, B and C of that wave Y to come. Now, the reason why I don't really like that is just because of the size difference here. This wave A is so significantly larger than the previous wave A here, which is again the similar, basically the same degree. So the size difference between these two is so significant that it does not really matter, or does not really fit in my mind that these are same degree. And therefore I don't really like the idea of this being ABC for that wave Y. I've seen some other counts where people have been labeling this as this, where we would have this as a 1, 2, 3. Again, I've mentioned this quite a few times already, why I don't like this. The reason again is that third wave here is not that extended. Of course, it does not need to be, and in impulse wave, it can be smaller, even smaller than wave 1, as long as it is not the shortest one in a motive wave. So again, that is that. For this one to be true, at the moment, I do feel like we need to be utilizing some of the let's see what we got here. For example, this count where we had a diagonal into these lows in here, or these lows in here as a diagonal, to create this as a 1, 2 structure. Whether it is this low or this low at the moment does not really matter. The point it would be this. Now, again, this would bring us into another setup where we could have this as another 1, 2. Now, this is the most bearish setup I see at the moment, giving us this 1, 2, 1, 2 off this fifth. This is definitely possible, but again, I'm not 100% I want to be going with this count, because again, I don't really like the overall structures here, and I don't think it's the most likely count, so that's why I don't really prefer it that much. I've also seen some of the counts where people have been saying that this would be an ABC from the very tip top, where instead of the count ending at these lows of June this year, we would have this as an AB, and then this would be a wave 1. Now, I don't really see a point for that. Again, the wave 2 would be this, and then you would have to have this as another, some kind of, so again, this would be a wave 1, this would be the wave 2. You would be looking for wave 3. So you would have to have this as some kind of, I don't even know how you would be labeling this, some kind of 3-way structure. And again, this is definitely 5 waves, or well, it could be modified into both 3 and 5, but if we want to have that diagonal here, we would be doing something like this. Now, the issue with this one is, again, the same thing, proportions. We are comparing this wave 1, oh sorry, this would be the wave A to this wave 1 here. This is a whole degree higher than this structure, because we are, again, this would be the wave A, B, and then this whole structure would be that wave C. So this wave 1 is so much larger than a higher time frame wave A. Again, it does not really make too much sense in my opinion. But again, I'm not saying it's not possible, I'm just saying it's not that likely, again, based on the proportions. And if you have to be comparing counts against each other, we have only so few ideas and things that we can compare against, because again, there's a million and more counts for these. It's just our job, I feel like, to find out the most probable one, or a couple of them, and follow them, in my opinion. If you're just looking at all the counts you can figure out, again, that is no use to anyone. And if you have a count because you think it looks okay, and you're just following that, it's all fine, but I don't think this is the one that you should be following. But again, that's just me. But I think those are the 3 ones that I'm still looking into and keeping on my chart. This is definitely the most bearish, again, as mentioned, if this was a 1, 2, 1, 2 setup coming up. So that's why we still want to be looking for that short possibility here on smaller time frame, as I've mentioned before, depending on the count. Let's see if we can find out some kind of count here, which one we are going to go for. Not that one, this one. Yeah, for this one, example, instead of this being an ABC like I've had it here, because again, a different higher time frame expectation, this would be a wave A, wave 1, then 3-way pullback into that wave 2, and then another wave 1 here, smaller degree. Again, let's measure that out. It is very similar in size, basically 1 to 1. It does not really, it is not larger, so we don't need to be too worried about it. So that is all fine. And then we would have this as the wave 2 here. The previous wave 2 took quite a while here, so we don't really need to be worrying about that yet. I don't think this is going to be doing or using that much time, but again, there is definitely a possibility. If it does use this much time, then again, the likeliness of this count being a wave 2 goes significantly down. Even here, if we are comparing these two, we see that we went past the 1 to 1. At this point, we have to be starting to question whether this is likely to be a wave 1 or wave 2 or wave B, this structure, because again, the wave 2s generally don't take too much time in comparison, at least to that wave B. But here the proportions are still fine. But yeah, that's that. Again, the wave 2 would be either something like that, taking out these highs here of around 18.3k, and then we would be looking for shorts. Of course, before that, we would be looking for this move higher. We got some issues here on more local structures, but we'll look into those during the week and try to trade those. Again, the main idea that I've been looking at has been the ABC. Let's see if I can find it, actually, this one, where we had this as a wave A, B, because again we have taken out the lows here, and that would be creating us an expander flat. The issue here that we are having is that now that is weakened. This is most likely going to stay very sideways during this whole weekend, and it's not really giving us a good looking wave C anymore, because again this is going to take a couple of time, or a bit too much time in my opinion, but yeah, that is that. Definitely could be just a very sideways correction before another leg up to create more like a WXY instead here. But the expectation here was that C wave. But yeah, I think we've covered all the things on Bitcoin at this very moment that I wanted to cover. All the WXY counts, all the ABCs, and the impulse wave count that I see probable and possible. So if you made it this far into the video, I would appreciate the likes. Link to my free Discord server in the description below. And for now, I thank you for watching and hope to see you on the next video as well. Bye bye.